All right, let's dive right into this explainer. I want you to picture the hero of today's story. And honestly, that hero is probably you. Think about it. You finally carve out some time, you sit down at your desk, and you're fully intending to just crush that massive project or study session. You are ready to work. But then, almost immediately, your focus just completely shatters. You find yourself derailed by the absolute smallest distraction. Look, it's a tale as old as the modern internet. But today, we are going to completely rewrite that story.
We've all been hit by this incredibly frustrating reality. You open a book or fire up your laptop for a crucial document, and you read a single line, maybe two if you're lucky, and suddenly your mind is just miles away. Before you even realize what's happening, 5 minutes have burned by, and you are checking your phone again. It feels like this massive personal failure, right? You keep telling yourself that you just need to try harder.
But here is the core shift in our narrative today. It turns out this is absolutely not a discipline problem. It's a habit problem. So we need to stop beating ourselves up over this supposed lack of willpower. Instead, we are going to actively rewire your focus using 5 specific, actionable habits. Think of these as the trials our hero, you, must pass to take back control of your mind.
Trial number 1, pausing the chaos. This is habit 1, and it's where we learned the absolute critical importance of creating a transition buffer.
Because here's the thing, you simply cannot flip a switch and expect your brain to instantly obey. Jumping straight from mindlessly scrolling on Instagram directly into intense deep work, that is physically jarring for your brain. It is literally the mental equivalent of waking up from a dead sleep and immediately trying to run a full-speed sprint. Your brain just isn't ready for that sudden demand, so it aggressively resists the effort, pushing you right back to distraction.
So here is your very first weapon. We call it the 90-second rule. The practical step here is incredibly simple, but man, is it effective. Before you open that laptop, before you crack open that textbook, just sit still. Close your eyes and do absolutely nothing for 90 seconds. No phone, no scrolling, just breathe. Now, I know it might sound kind of pointless at first, but giving your mind that tiny, brief window to settle creates the exact transition buffer your brain is desperately craving.
Moving on to Trial 2, defeating the Hydra with single-tab discipline. This is habit 2. Now that the chaos is paused, we have to face this relentless, multi-headed monster that society falsely calls multitasking.
And what's truly fascinating here is that multitasking doesn't actually exist. It's a total myth. What your brain is actually doing is task switching. And here's the brutal truth about that. Every single time you switch your attention from your work to a message or from one tab to another, it is actively costing you focus and time.
The real kicker comes down to this number, 20. Studies show it can take over 20 minutes to fully regain your state of deep focus after just one single distraction. Neurologically, this happens because of something called attention residue. Basically, a piece of your focus stays stuck on that previous interruption. So every time you even just glance at a notification, you are essentially resetting a 20-minute timer on your own peak performance. Crazy, right?
To actually defeat this monster, you need strict single-tab discipline. The action plan here is simple but tough. One task, one window. If you're writing, close absolutely every other application. And this is absolutely crucial, put your phone in an entirely different room. Listen, putting your phone face down on your desk does not work. A face-down phone still exerts this massive gravitational pull on your attention. Distance is what breaks the spell, not just flipping the screen over.
Okay, trial 3, building endurance through the focused sprint. This is habit 3. We've paused the chaos, we've slain the multitasking monster, now we need to talk about stamina.
I really want to validate the struggle you might feel when staring down a massive task. Look, nobody is biologically built to sustain deep focus for hours on end without a break. It's just unnatural, and we have to stop expecting that of ourselves. But here's the good news. Your brain can easily handle 25 minutes of highly concentrated effort. Which brings us to the famous Pomodoro method, specifically the 25-5 sprint. You just set a timer for 25 minutes of full relentless focus, and when that timer goes off, you take exactly 5 minutes of rest. If you repeat this cycle just 3 to 4 times, you are going to accomplish way more in those couple of hours than you normally would dragging yourself through a completely unfocused, distracted 8-hour day.
But wait, here is the absolute key that almost everyone misses. Your 5-minute break has to be genuine, real rest. Checking your phone or scrolling social media, that is fake rest. It keeps your brain fully engaged and fatigued. Real rest means 0 screens. Stand up, stretch your legs, go look out a window for a few minutes. You literally have to let that mental engine cool down if you want it to rev back up for the next sprint.
All right, trial 4, slaying the final bosses. This covers inputs and environment, which are habits 4 and 5. We're entering the climax of our explainer here. Our hero is equipped, but now we have to face the toxic inputs and chaotic environments that actively drain your willpower before the fight even begins.
Let's talk about those inputs first. Most focus advice just tells you to, try harder. But think about the physiological adaptation happening in your head. If you feed your brain a constant diet of short-form content, reels, shorts, quick dopamine hits, you are actively training it to expect a massive reward every 8 seconds. Because of that, deep, slow tasks like reading or studying start to feel physically unbearably boring. It's not that you lack discipline, your attention span has literally been conditioned to reject anything slow.
So, to fix your input, you have to starve the distraction. The practical step here? Cut out all short-form content 1 to 2 hours before you need to do heavy, focused work. Instead of scrolling, replace that time with slow activities. Go for a walk without your phone. You need to let your brain reset its baseline so that when you finally sit down to work, the work doesn't feel like absolute torture.
Which leads us seamlessly into habit 5. And it comes down to this: it's not talent, it is conditioning. We all know those people who seem to just effortlessly sit down and start working, right? Well, they aren't naturally gifted with superior focus. Through the science of classical conditioning, they've simply set up their environment to trigger their brain for them.
Your brain builds incredibly powerful associations. If you choose one specific chair at one specific desk and use a specific time window exclusively for work, magic starts to happen. You don't use this spot for watching movies or scrolling on your phone. Work only. Over the course of 2 to 3 weeks, just the physical act of sitting in that chair will automatically trigger your brain into focus mode through association. You are literally building an on switch for your productivity.
And finally, the return, reclaiming your focus. This brings our hero's journey to a close. You've navigated the transition buffers, you've slain the task-switching monster, mastered the sprint, and cleared out those toxic inputs and environments. Reclaiming your focus is now entirely within your grasp.
The ultimate takeaway from this whole explainer today is this: focus isn't about willpower. It's about removing friction and building the right triggers. Think about it. None of the 5 habits we've discussed today are overly complicated. And honestly, that is exactly the point. You don't need to be superhuman. You just need a better system.
So I'm going to leave you with one final provocative question to think about. Which one habit will you pick to start today? Just one. Please, whatever you do, do not try to implement all 5 of these at once. That is a guaranteed recipe for burnout, and it's exactly how people end up quitting by day 3. Pick one, master it, and then layer on the next. If you found this breakdown helpful and want more practical, no-fluff content like this, make sure to subscribe. But for now, go take that 90-second breather and get to work.